Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Meeple University. Today we are going to review Tidal Blades Banner Festival. Now you might be familiar with Tidal Blades. The first one, I think it's called Tidal Blades. Just Tidal Blades.
I think it's just Tidal Blades.
Yep. So this is by the same company, but this is a different game.
Yes, this is a standalone in-universe game.
In the universe game, yeah. Same universe, but different game.
Yes.
And this plays 2 to 5 players. And this is by Lucky Duck and Druid City Games.
Yes.
We're gonna do an overview of the game and we will review it.
Yes. So it plays 2 to 5, although it does need a dummy player for 3 players. It's best served as a 3 to 5 player game. It's a game played in 3 rounds. Each round is almost independent. Each round, each player gets 8 merchandise cards. And one player moves the gate. So for each turn, one player moves the gate between 1 and 4 spaces forward around this circuit here.
I'm going to lay down all of them.
Yeah. So essentially, this is it's a festival. There's watercraft racing around here. There's all these towers and places for banners. So one person does that, and that sets the color for the turn, and then all players simultaneously choose 1 card to play. The cards are revealed. Let me just get some example cards here. So let's say these are the 3 players' cards. All the cards are unique. They're in the 4 different colors. They range from 0 to 9 or 1 to 9 if you're playing less than 5 players. And whichever player you'll find one player who's played the highest value card, one who's played the lowest, and one who's played, and everyone else who's played in the middle. And highest versus lowest depends on what quadrant you're in. So if you're in the purple quadrant, the purple cards are the highest. They outrank everything else. Then the orange, then the yellow, then the blue. So right now, this would be the highest card. Blue would be the lowest card, and this would be a middle card. And then whether you've played high, low, or middle determines what you do next. So if you have played the highest card, you start to do laps of the water park. So you advance all the way around to where the gate is. So you want to time your high cards to get the most movement that you can, because every time you complete a lap, you will get to flip over one of these cards.
And the lap is this one.
Yep. And these will be worth points at the end of the game, and it's an ever-increasing number of points. So if you can get to 7 laps, you're going to score 28 points at the end of the game.
So it's not cumulative. It's not cumulative.
Yep. Okay. All right. If you played the lowest card, then you get to resolve the ability that is printed on that card. Otherwise, you ignore that text entirely. And there's some good combos there that you can use to get points. All other players get to put a banner in the current quadrant of the gate. And you follow this path until you find a criterion that you meet. So odd, for example. This was a middle card, 9 of orange. That's an odd card, so the token would be placed there. And then you would get whatever bonus is underneath it. So this one lets you put a second banner. This one would give you fruit, for example. So if the card had been even, but it had been yellow, this player would gain 1 fruit.
Let's put the rest of the fruit here.
Yeah, right.
So this fruit is kind of like jelly-ish and squishy a little bit. It's quite cute. Anyways, yes.
Yep. So there's a few different ways to get fruit from these or from the effects on the cards. If you skip over all of these, then your banner ends up in the tower. And the tower is shared between the 2 quadrants. So you'll keep playing cards in this way until the whole round is over. Everyone has no cards left in hand. And then you'll score the quadrants based on who has the most banners. So one of the ways of scoring, doing laps, one of them is having the most banners in a quadrant. And the tower counts towards both quadrants. These get cleared off at the end of the round, but the tower stays. So if you can skip over these criterion ones, you can get some good tower banners to score points in subsequent rounds. The other way to score is the fruit. So fruit's sort of a continuous thing. Every time the fruit pool runs out, The player or players with the most fruit will gain 1 point per fruit. Everyone else gains points equal to half their fruit, and then the fruit is returned, and you start that part of the game afresh. That's the game. You do it 3 times, and whoever has the most points at the end of the day is the winner.
What do you think?
Overall, it's a pretty fun game. It's got it's
The vibe
it's a
of...
very Libertalia vibe.
Yes, the vibe of Libertalia.
Very Libertalia vibe. So, you know, down to having the 3 rounds that almost don't intersect with each other. It's all a game about picking cards to play at the right time, and picking when to win, when's best to do your laps, when to lose by having an ability that you really want to resolve. And part of the benefit of losing a round is you get to choose the gate's movement in the next round. So that gives you some control as well. So I like that. It has, for a game of that style, it's simpler than Libertalia because it doesn't have so many individual powers and terminologies, but it doesn't take away the...
Surprise, there's a bit of a randomness as well.
Yeah.
Simultaneous play, randomness, and that's it. And
Yeah,
fun.
this whole thing here where it's constantly changing which card is highest and which card is lowest is excellent. It really resolves the good draw, bad draw side of the game, and gives you the flexibility to do a number of things there. So I think it's really neatly put together.
I do agree. Although I think we would recommend to play maybe 3 or 4 players rather than 5. Reason being is that, it really depends what you like really, but reason being is that if you play 5 players, it's a little bit more random to win. Sometimes you kind of want to strategize a little bit. You want to be the winner so you can move your board, because let's say if this is red, if I win, my board, the banner is there and it just won. It's not really that, efficient to move your board, but if you want to win when you are like in here, so you do a lap and you get the point cards flipped up like that. So in 5 players, it's a little bit more random in terms of how you kind of like, it's hard to kind of like, it's harder to get the first player, the last player. The easiest one is to be the middle player, which adding these towers or banners, sorry.
Yeah, I certainly felt that the game doesn't change that much between player counts in terms of setup and rules, but it changes a lot in style. And you just look at it mathematically. If you're playing a 5-player game, there's 15 turns per game. Law of averages says you're going to move your boat 3 times, you're going to resolve 3 cards, and you're going to place banners 9 times across the game. And it means that you're not doing much around here. It's hard to get the high value, and the vast majority of points come from banners. If you go down to 3 players, there's an extra turn. Sorry, I got my numbers wrong there. There's 21 turns in the game. So 4 times you're going to move your boat. If you go down to the 3-player game, there's 24 turns, and you're likely to move your boat 8 times and place banners 8 times. So there's a lot more points in the other things.
Yep.
And there's not much that changes that. In the 5-player game, you add the 0 cards to this deck, and it lets you advance your boat when you're last with this card. So it gives you a couple of extra ways of doing laps, but it's a lot harder to do laps.
And yes, sorry, continue.
So it's, just from a...
Different strategy.
From an overall standpoint, I don't like it when a game has something that is much more powerful at one player count versus another.
Okay.
And that was the downside at 5, because I thought the banner placement wasn't as interesting a part of the game. So yeah, I would agree with you. I'd recommend playing it at 3 or 4 rather than 5.
Yeah, and then that 5-player game, we actually ran out of banners. I don't know what we did. Maybe we didn't have enough.
We didn't run out of banners. We ran out of
Sorry,
points.
not banners. Sorry,
Points
points
look like banners.
Yep.
So, yeah, we totally ran out of points totals.
Don't know what we did. Maybe
we vastly ran out, and everyone had to return like 18 points to make it to have enough. So
with low
Not sure
player
what's going on
counts, which I have to point, I will point out as well, these point cards. So some of them from, or all of them from 3 points and onwards, you actually have a condition that you can meet. If you meet that condition, you get the reward. For example, this one, if your board is at number 5 right here, then you get a fruit.
Yeah.
So this is harder to achieve in high player counts. The lower it is, the easier. So, you know, how you're going to move it, how you're going to, a lot of things that, a lot of ways to, so the most way to move it is being the lowest number players,
Highest number.
Sorry, highest number player, or the lowest where you activate a specific amount of movement of your boat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some of these that let you move like 1 or 2 spaces. Some of these, and then the benefits of these, they'll start to combo the different scorings together. So there'll be ones that will give you fruit per banner or movement per banner.
Yep.
And there's a nice one where if you can come last with a 9, which again I guess is easier at 3 players and harder at 5 players, then that card is taken out of the game and worth 5 points.
Oh wow, yes, we've seen that played before, I think.
Yep. Someone did manage to make that work in our 5-player game.
Yeah. That was kind of like, it's more random than strategic though. I feel like in 5 players it's more random and YOLO. It's still fun, but it's more strategic in lower play counts.
Yeah. I definitely think, you know, I've been of the for a game at this, you know, it's got a lot of luck and interaction and kind of randomness. I would recommend this over Libertalia because I think and I've always been a big fan of Libertalia.
I know you do.
Over multiple plays, it does have a lot of edge cases and things to explain. I think this is an easier entry point.
Yep. I think so. This is recommended for, you know, but that's the thing though. It feels like it's strategic, but not. It's like it's not gateway. It's 3 to 4 players. Game would be a fun one. It still gets 4 players. That's quite a few players. I guess it wouldn't be quite a party game, but it's almost there. A party game. What is a party game? Party game's like a lot of players and then really quick gameplay. So not quite party game. It's still a fun one. Libertalia-ish.
Yeah, and I like the color palette. It's got a good presence here. Teals.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Teals and oranges, always a nice
This
mix.
is similar to the first Tidal Blades, and look at the cards as well. The cards are also awesome. Look at these.
Yep.
Yeah. All the cards are really, really good, and the artwork is really great, bright colored as well. One of our friends says as well, bright colored one is easier for the eyes because you can differentiate a little bit better than the pale colors one, which I agree. I mean, there are some Euro games, the beige colored one, which is nothing wrong with the game. It's just like this preference.
Yep. Right. That's,
recommended.
Yeah. Overall, I think it's good. I think it's not an obvious Libertalia replacement. Like it's not like Space Base replaced Machikoro for me. I think they both have their pluses and minuses for a game in a similar style. You probably don't need both in your collection unless you really love that sort of game.
We have to, well, I want to mention quickly the first Tidal Blades. It's a completely different game, so that is not as light as this. It's probably more medium complexity. It's got I think a dice drafting. It's been a while since we played it. It is a good game as well, so both are good game, recommended, and this one is more entry level, or lighter.
And this one has a very conventional box size. So this, unlike the original Tidal Blades, this will fit on a normal shelf.
Calyx, I would say Calyx. That is our review, everybody. Have you played it? Have you heard of it? Maybe you experienced it. You played the first Tidal Blades as well. Or
did you see it and think it was an expansion? It's not.
Yep, it's not, and it's not Tidal Blades 2. So just clarify that. It's Tidal Blades Banner Festival. I made that mistake once, that's how I remember it. Let us know in the comment sections, or is there any other games that is like this one and like Libertalia? Let us know. You would probably be interested.
I did forget to say, I mentioned it earlier. It's kind of a 3 to 5 player game. 2-player uses dummy banners and dummy cards to make sure there's a top and bottom. So
wouldn't really, wouldn't probably. I wouldn't recommend it personally, but if you stuck with 2 players, at least you still can play it.
Yep.
So that's it. If you find this useful somehow, it'll be really helpful. You can please hit the like button and subscribe to us if you haven't already done that. I'm also on Instagram. Find me there as well. We do, by the way, videos. We do review like this, how to play, live playthrough, and so on. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching.